if the perfect escape turned into a living nightmare? A respectable doctor and a chance encounter and a passionate affair. What starts out as a dream quickly spirals into obsession, deception, and one of the darkest descents in film noir history. This 1947 classic tells the story of a man who risked everything, his career, his family, and even his identity, for the love of a captivating nightclub singer. But in Noir, love always comes with a price. With a stunning performance by a Hollywood icon, this film delivers shadowy cinematography, tension-filled storytelling, and a flip-flop on the usual femme fatale. Hello to all the classic people that are returning. I'm glad you're back. I want to welcome any new visitors and let you know that there will be spoilers ahead. Today on Classic Movie Review, we're taking on film noir Nora Prentiss, 1947. This film is rated a decent 7.1 on imdb.com. On RottenTomatoes.com, the film doesn't have a tomato meter score, but it has a 68% audience score. Cranky old New York Times film critic Bosley Carruthers said in a February 22nd, 1947 review, quote, "You get the idea, and just to save you from any further waste of time, we might add that the playing of this story is every bit as ridiculous as it sounds. Miss Sheridan is practically a cipher, and Kent Smith, who plays the poor doc, gives a walking representation of a love-smitten telegraph pole. Nobody else really figures. This is major picture making at its worst," unquote. Okay, it's not that bad, and Ann Sheridan is fun to look at. Actors. Bruce Bennett, a former Tarzan actor, has a small role as Dr. Joel Merriam. Bennett was first covered in the great Humphrey Bogart war film Sahara, 1943. He was also excellent in The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, 1948, and film noir Mystery Street, 1950. Rosemary DeCamp played the distracted wife, Lucy Talbot. DeCamp was first covered in the film noir Scandal Sheet, 1952. John Ridgely played a heart patient, Walter Bailey. Ridgely was first covered in the film noir The Big Sleep, 1946. A very young Wanda Hendricks played the daughter, Bonita Talbot. Hendricks was once married to the war hero, Audie Murphy, and was first covered in the great film noir Ride the Pink Horse, 1947. Ann Sheridan played the title role of Nora Prentiss. Sheridan was born in Texas in 1915. She was the youngest of 5 children, born to an auto mechanic and a homemaker. She played basketball at North Texas State Teachers College, where she studied to be a teacher. Sheridan's sister sent her picture to the Paramount Studios' Search for Beauty contest. Sheridan won the contest and received a screen test and a small role in a movie. She signed a contract with Paramount at the age of 18 or 19. She appeared in 12 films in 1934 and another 12 in 1935. One of her earlier roles was in the pre-noir Black Legion, 1937, and San Quentin, 1937, both with Humphrey Bogart. That same year, Sheridan was in The Great O'Malley, 1937. She appeared in the Olivia de Havilland Errol Flynn Western Dodge City, 1939. Sheridan left Paramount for Warner Brothers and slowly worked up to star status. In 1938, she appeared in Angels with Dirty Faces. At some point, she was anointed with the name of the Oomph Girl, which she apparently hated. Sheridan became a pinup girl and was only rivaled by Betty Grable. The World War II years were good for Sheridan, with her appearing in 4 Noirish films: City for Conquest, 1940, and Torrid Zone, 1940, with James Cagney, as well as A Drive-by-Night, 1940, with Bogart, and Castle on the Hudson, 1940, with John Garfield. Sheridan appeared in the hilarious The Man Who Came to Dinner, 1941. Monty Woolley gives a master class on being a jackass. She paired with Errol Flynn for Edge of Darkness, 1943, a good film about killing Nazis. During the war, Sheridan entertained our troops, traveling with the USO. She had the distinction of flying the Hump, the most dangerous air route on Earth, crossing over the Himalayas from India to China. Other films of note include The Unfaithful, 1947, today's film noir Nora Prentiss, 1947, and the really good Western Silver River, 1948, again with Errol Flynn. Sheridan was in the Howard Hawks directed comedy I Was a Male War Bride 1949, co-starring Cary Grant. She retired from film in the late 50s, but returned to acting for the soap opera Another World from 1965 to 1966. Sheridan appeared in the primetime series Pistols and Petticoats from 1966 to 1967. Sadly, it was not long until she became terminally ill. Sheridan died at 51 in 1967. Kent Smith played bored Dr. Richard Talbot. Smith was born in 1907 in New York City.
Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Kent graduated from Phillips Exeter Academy in New Hampshire and later attended Harvard University. During this time, he expanded his interest in acting, which included joining the University Players. Kent started working in theater in 1929 and made his Broadway debut in 1932. He became quite successful on stage. He appeared in The Garden Murder Case 1936, but didn't make another movie until the horror film Cat People 1942. Other films during this period include Hitler's Children 1943 and This Land Is Mine 1943. He repeated in the sequel The Curse of the Cat People 1944. Kent joined the U.S. Army Air Force and worked in training films. He left the military in 1944. He then resumed his career with films like the horror movie The Spiral Staircase 1946, the comedy Magic Town 1947, film noir Nora Prentiss 1947, dramas My Foolish Heart 1949, and The Fountainhead 1949, plus film noir The Damned Don't Cry 1950. Kent was good, but it's often stated that he was overshadowed by the beauty and talent of his female co-stars. In the 1950s, Kent moved to television and returned to stage work. He was prolific on television. A couple of his later film roles were the comedy The Trouble with Angels 1966, directed by film noir icon Ida Lupino, and the very hard to find Billy Jack Goes to Washington 1977. Kent died in 1985. Story: in San Francisco, a ferry pulls into the Embarcadero. Newspaper reporters are waiting for one of the passengers. A man in handcuffs is escorted through the terminal. The reporters swarm the suspect, but the man refuses to answer any questions. He keeps his face covered as they load him into the waiting police car. At the Hall of Justice, a lawyer begs the man to provide information for his defense. The suspect refuses to talk, and his face is still hidden. They have accused him of blackmailing and murdering Dr. Talbot. Locked alone in a cell, the man begins to recall his story. Dr. Richard Talbot, Kent Smith, has a very successful medical practice with his partner, Dr. Joel Merriam, Bruce Bennett. Talbot is shown at his home, and he is very proper and straight-laced. To his wife, Lucy Talbot, Rosemary DeCamp, Talbot is little more than a provider for her and their two kids, Gregory, Robert Arthur, and Benita, Wanda Hendrick. As children are, they are only interested in their own lives. The entire family is functioning on autopilot.
You look very pretty this morning, Bunny. Girls. Very pretty.
Now, don't spoil her, Richard. Really, I'm a little annoyed. I try to maintain some sort of schedule, and Benita's always upsetting it.
What difference do a few minutes make?
It isn't a question of a few minutes. She's habitually late.
Habitually.
When I was her age, my father made me be careful about such things.
Well, your father was a rather strict man. You don't expect me.
I expect my family to be reliable.
Talbot asked Lucy to go to the mountains for the weekend, but she says she and the kids will be at her mother's. Everyone at the office is surprised that Talbot is 20 minutes late because he took time to enjoy the spring weather. One of Miriam's patients is outside. Miriam is not in the office. Walter Bailey, John Ridgely, is shown inside for an examination. Bailey has a bad heart for which he is being treated.
I notice you live at the YMCA.
Yes.
Haven't you any family or friends you could live with?
I can't think of anybody. Why?
Well, it'll be safer.
Marion comes in later, and Talbot gives him a fussing. Miriam's not interested in being scolded by his partner. Talbot works past 6:30, and it's dark when he heads out. Suddenly, he sees Nora Prentiss and Sheridan get hit by a truck. Nora is out cold, so Talbot has her taken to his office. The first time Nora is shown, she is lying on the exam table, looking beautiful and helpless. Nora's only injury is a bruise above her knee. Talbot gets some gam time.
Got a cigarette?
Yes.
This is to find out. How is she, Doc?
Nothing serious.
Good. Can I go now? No, stick around. I gotta file a report.
What's all the commotion out there?
The driver of the truck and the policeman. They want to ask you some questions.
Okay, wheel them in.
Well, I haven't finished.
Oh, I don't mind. Bring them on in.
He gives her a smoke. I miss those days when doctors gave patients cigarettes. Nora is a nightclub singer and has been watching Talbot from her nearby apartment. Nora flirts a little with Talbot, and he really lights up. Back at his home, Talbot is concerned with his appearance. Lucy is as disinterested as possible. Talbot repeatedly tries to get a date with his wife. Alone on Saturday, Talbot works late in the evening at his medical office. Nora comes to visit, and she is wearing an awesome leopard print hat.
I hope I'm not interrupting.
No, certainly not.
Talbot is stumbling like a schoolboy in love. He asks where she works and is told the name of a spot on Fisherman's Wharf. Later that night, Talbot heads to the club to hear Nora sing. Sheridan sang her own songs in this film. Talbot meets the club owner, Phil Leonardo, Robert Alda. Robert Alda is the father of actor Alan Alda, who was a star of television's MASH 1972 to 1983 and the movie Sweet Liberty 1986. Nora and Talbot talk, and they both dance around the issue at hand. Phil comes to the table, and Nora uses a fake name for Talbot. It seems like Phil and Nora may have been or may still be an item. When they dance, Nora's bracelet breaks, and Talbot puts it in his pocket. He takes her home, and they get all kissy-faced. Later, Talbot calls to say that he still has the bracelet. They decide to go for a drive on a Sunday. What a cheap date. In the morning, he takes Nora north of town, where his mountain cabin is located. They spend an easy day together and begin to get close. At some point, she says that Phil is heading to New York to open up a new club and wants Nora to go with him. Before long, they begin a steamy affair. Talbot becomes much more concerned with seeing Nora. His work slides, and so does his attention to his family. One morning, Bonita comes to the breakfast table and reminds everyone that it's her 16th birthday. In his rush to get to the office, Talbot forgets Bonita's birthday. Lucy starts to rag on Talbot about his late hours and absences.
But I'm not exactly a fool. This sudden necessity for you to work night after night until 3 and 4 in the morning seems very odd to me. The population of San Francisco can't be that unhealthy.
At the medical offices, the roles have reversed as Dr. Merriam is now riding Dr. Talbot for being late. Talbot has missed an appointment with Mr. Bailey. Talbot tells Merriam that Bailey won't live another 6 months. Talbot is late for Bonita's party as he is out with Nora. Talbot tells Nora he would like to cool their thing a bit. She says she would rather break the whole thing off. Bill has invited Nora to New York. Talbot says he will ask Lucy for a divorce and that he and Nora will start a new life together.
Well, I may not be able to see you as often as I have.
Oh? Wouldn't it be better if you stopped seeing me altogether?
No, of course not. It's just that until I can work something out...
You mean you'll see me when it's convenient?
I didn't say that.
That's what you meant.
At the party, Miriam tries to comfort Lucy and gives her good advice for marriage. Talbot arrives and is shocked to find the birthday party in progress. Lucy has even bought a gift that he could give Bonita. The morning after the birthday party, Talbot goes to the hospital to operate on a patient. Nora waits at home for a call. Talbot tells Nora that he can't break up with Lucy. She gives him the heave-ho. Miriam and Dr. Overton, Douglas Kennedy from New York, show up to assist and observe the operation. Talbot is an expert on this type of surgery. Talbot's mind is a million miles away. Nora packs to leave town. Following the surgery, Talbot goes straight to Nora's apartment. He is shaken because he almost killed his patient during the surgery. Miriam had to step in and take over. Talbot begs for more time and wants Nora to wait a little longer. He goes to his office and works on a letter asking Lucy for divorce. He realizes he can't hurt his family. Just then there's a knock on the door. It's Bailey, and he is having heart failure. Talbot begins to treat Bailey, but before he can give him a shot, Bailey dies in the office. Talbot knows Bailey doesn't have any family or friends, so he hits on a crazy idea. Talbot and Bailey are the same age, height, and weight. Talbot places his wedding ring on the dead hand of Bailey. Talbot then takes the body to a remote cliffside. He fills the car with flammable liquid, lights the fire, and sends the charred body of Bailey over the cliff. Nora is catching the ferry when Talbot arrives by taxi. Talbot finds Nora, and they go away together. Miriam and the nurse meet in the office, and they can't believe Talbot is dead. Lucy calls Miriam and shares that Talbot has taken a lot of money out of the account and made a very large withdrawal on the date of the accident. Miriam finds the burned divorce note in the ashtray. He takes all the information from the bank account and the office to the homicide bureau. The police lieutenant, Harry Shannon, thinks somebody may have been blackmailing Talbot and probably murdered him. Of all the gin joints in all the towns of all the world, she walks into mine. Of all the cities in the world, Talbot and Nora went to New York City. Talbot spends time checking out-of-town newspapers to see if he is mentioned. He soon finds that his death is under investigation. Talbot and Nora are staying in separate apartments across the hall. She is happy, but Talbot is freaking out. Nora wants to go out to DiNardo's new club. Talbot doesn't want to see anyone from San Francisco. Nora doesn't know what Talbot did before he left. Talbot says they have to be quiet until his divorce comes through. Since he faked his death, he can't work as a doctor or get divorced. Nora gets increasingly bored as Talbot tries to move around in the shadows. Finally, he lets up and takes her to DiNardo's nightclub. DiNardo is happy to see Nora, but not happy that she plans to marry Talbot. Later, Talbot bumps into Dr. Overton and leaves the club in a rush. That night, Nora forces the truth out of Talbot. Although it has been months, she agrees to stay with him. She decides that she will start singing at DiNardo's club. Nora takes the town by storm. This leaves Talbot with more time alone, which he uses to crawl inside a bottle. He also becomes insanely jealous as Nora spends time with DiNardo. Talbot is in the throes of his bender when a messenger delivers a package to Nora from DiNardo. Talbot freaks and slaps Nora. Alone and after more drinking, Talbot heads to the nightclub to confront DiNardo. He finds DiNardo with Nora. Talbot attacks DiNardo and bashes the club owner with a bottle.
And keep away from Nora. I'm warning you.
I think you've had a little too much to drink, old man. We'd better go outside.
Keep your hands off.
Richard! Don't! Are you insane?
He flees and steals DiNardo's car. In his drunken flight, he wrecks the car, slicing and burning his face. Nora stays by his side while he's in the hospital. Later, Nora tells DiNardo goodbye as she goes to the hospital to pick up Talbot. The doctors remove the bandages, and Nora's shocked face is seen during the unveiling.
Well, that looks pretty good.
Nora?
It's all right. It's fine.
The New York police have checked Talbot's fingerprints, and they match prints from the presumed San Francisco murder site of Talbot. 2 police officers pick him up and say he is being returned to San Francisco for the murder of Dr. Richard Talbot. He refuses to say that he is really Talbot. At the trial in San Francisco, Talbot refuses to enter a plea or speak at all. Miriam, Lucy, and others testify. No one recognizes Talbot's scarred face. Talbot is found guilty of murder. Nora comes to see him, but he convinces her to remain quiet to save his family any more pain.
But look at me. Take a good look at me. Don't you see that I'm no possible good to anybody? To you, or my family, or myself. I could never prove my innocence. You know that. They'd never believe me. If a man commits one crime, it's easy to suspect him of another. Besides, I am guilty of killing a man. I killed Richard Talbot.
It breaks Nora's heart, but she agrees. Leonardo follows her into the night.
If I could die remembering that, you could live remembering it. Promise. Promise.
Hey, if you're enjoying the shows and want more, please give me a like, subscription, or a comment. It really helps the show get found, and I really appreciate your support. Conclusion. A femme fatale, or deadly woman, is not a requirement for a film noir. It just makes the film better. Nora was never a femme fatale, and in many ways, Talbot was a homme fatale, or deadly man. Talbot loses everything, including his life, but it was his own doing. Nora, on the other hand, tried to dissuade Talbot from leaving his family. Nora was left alive and burdened with all the pain of lost love, even though she didn't even know about the crime until later. Many people call this film a woman's noir. I can certainly understand that label because all of the real sadness and pain fell on Nora. Talbot's family was left thinking he was a good man who was murdered. World famous short summary: there must be 50 ways to leave your lover, but faking your own death ain't one of them. As a technical note, references and citations are listed for each show on the site at classicmovierev.com. There's a lot more information on the site. Beware the Moors. Okay, in a second, some boxes will pop up. One is a film noir that I've reviewed. Another is a list of all the film noirs that I've reviewed.